Hey you guys, all right, I am going to talk to you today about how to make water kefir. This is something that I like to teach people how to do because water kefir can be very good for your gut, and while we do our detoxes, this is something I like to add to our detox tea with dandelion root to just give it a little bit of sweetness and have good probiotics for your gut. So everybody wonders how to make this stuff, and it's super easy, but it can be a little bit confusing the first time you do it. So a video can be very helpful to let you know and educate you on how to make it. First thing is, I like to get my water kefir from Amazon. That's typically the place that I get it. And I purchase a brand called Sun Kefir. I don't know if you guys can see this. Maybe, maybe not. Let's see. There you go. All right, so you can see also the little grains are in here, and that's what they look like. These are just ready to get going, so here they are. But we got to get the grains going, and in order to do that, you need 3 to 5 days of it sitting in the sugar water for it to start the fermentation and get started. So that is the first phase of this, and then once that happens, you can do this cycle every 24 to 48 hours and just keep it going. So you need a couple days to get it going, but then after that it's 24 to 48 hours that you can use the water to drink in your tea. All right, the first thing we're gonna do, this is a 1/4 cup of grains, so when you order it, you wanna use 1/4 cup. And I use organic cane sugar, so it's like this. So any kind of cane sugar I think is the best. So brown sugar or cane sugar in my opinion is the best one for your water kefir. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a 1/4 cup in this, and this is just a big glass jar that I keep my water kefir in to ferment, and I have this temperature gauge on the outside, so I always have this when I do my detoxes, and I know how warm my water is so that when I put the water kefir in, it's not getting in too cold or too warm of water. Ideally you want it at room temperature, and so room temperature is showing like 73 to 75 degrees Fahrenheit on here. Although that sounds warm to me, but I don't think my house is that warm, but it's saying 73 on here. Okay. We need to dissolve the sugar, so I'm going to pour the 1/4 cup of sugar into my jar like this. And then I have some warm water here that I'm going to pour in and dissolve the sugar that's in there. So I use it pretty warm because I feel like it will dissolve the sugar pretty quickly. And I just stir it up till the sugar is pretty much dissolved, because once I add that water back in there, once I add cool water in there, it's not going to dissolve that well. So you really want to get these kefir grains dissolved here. And so they're dissolving. All right. So because I've added hot water in there, the water temperature is going to be a little bit warm. So I add some cold water in there to make sure it's room temperature. There we go. So a couple seconds of stirring, and I've got all my sugar is dissolved. All right, so let's pour in some water. So this is on the cooler side. I may need to get some hot water in here. Because it might just be too cold. So I'm going to pour in and see where we're at with degree. And so I'm doing 4 cups of water. All right, a little bit of hot water. Give me a second. That should do the trick. All right, so it's saying it's about 73 degrees right now. And then I'm gonna pour in now my kefir grains. Okay, they're in there. This is what it looks like, okay? Now those guys are gonna start cooking in there, and they're gonna activate and start feeding off that sugar, and then the byproduct of that is probiotics. It's really good for our gut. Those are the good bacteria that we need in our gut for a good immune system and overall health. So that's what we do. So 3 to 4 days, I'm going to dump this out, and I like to use a strainer that looks like this. I got this from Target. I've done this several times. I've used bags that look like this. The problem with the bag is I feel like they can get really mushy and yucky after a while, so I think when they're just floating around in the water, it's perfect. And then we'll dump out the water in 3 to 4 days like this into the sink, and I'll have all my kefir grains in here, and I'll let these sit on the side, and I'm going to do this process over again just like I did right now. And I'm going to pour the grains back in there and let them sit for 24 hours. After 24 hours, they should be ready. So what I'll do at that point is dump out the water again, but I will keep it in a container like a large mason jar. And that's what I'm going to use to drink in my dandelion root tea, detox tea. And do the process again for the next day. So you can, let's say you have a buildup of water kefir in your refrigerator, let it sit for 2 days, it's still fine. So I think even up to 3 you can do. All right, you guys, so that's how you do water kefir. It's not that big of a process. Leave it on your counter out of direct sunlight and, you know, just room temperature. Keep an eye on it. Make sure all your utensils are clean when you're using them. You're not putting your fingers in there. Your hands are washed, because this is room temperature and there's sugar in there, so you don't want it growing any bad bacteria, right? So just make sure you have really keep clean everything while you're doing this and your fingers aren't in there and such. All right, you have a great day.